That's something that I've struggled with for a really long time. I remember countless conversations with my dad about why do people hurt each other. I don't understand why people hurt each other. I don't understand why people are mean. I've never understood that. And so I've had to have a lot of conversations with my dad has helped me, and he told me how his mom, my grandma, when he asked her the same question, said that you have to think of life like a flower pot. And you have the beautiful flower, and it's lovely, and that's what everybody looks at. But underneath, in order to make that flower grow, is the dirt and all that goes into it. And thinking that the world could just be beautiful and wonderful is only seeing half of the picture, and that it takes all kinds, and it takes all kinds of experiences to create the entire beauty that the flower is. And so while that doesn't help me 100%, it was a way for me to look at things so that I could sort of more easily understand that there's good and bad, and that we sort of need them all together. And for my students, I mean, I so genuinely find joy in all of you guys. And even if you're disappointing or you don't do your homework, like my first period today, I know that tomorrow's another day. And I'm excited by that new day. I love for women to have power. I think women are amazing. And I think what they can do is really amazing. And I want them to have power. I don't want them to have more power. I just want everybody to have equal power. And I think for a long time, women have had less power. And they've seen themselves as less than or less important in a lot of ways. But I think that women are strong, and the communities that they create and the way that they can be the backbone of a family but also have a career is wonderful. And I think it's our time. Imagination. I think that our world needs more imagination. I think that we need to imagine a better way to treat our world. And I think that we need to imagine a way to accept all people, and to realize that loving them and treating them as equals does not diminish from us. And I think we need students and people and teachers to be imaginative and creative in the way that they tackle problems and the way that they see the world. Because I think we get stuck in the belief that this is hard and this is where we're going and these are the problems, and we forget that we're really creative and that we've overcome a lot of problems in the past, and that we have the ability to come together as a people and imagine a new future. And I think we're going to need that with global warming and with all the wars that we're fighting and with oil dependence. We're going to need to imagine some new solutions for all of the problems that we're facing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like literature, because it's so imaginative, and why I like teaching, because I like to foster that sort of imagination. So, and I also, like what I was saying before, I think that our world needs people to be kind to each other. And that if we were all just a little bit kinder all the time, it could be so big. I'm really close to a couple of guys, and they're cynical, and they sort of see the world in like this sort of darkish way, and they're my really close friends. And I almost married one of them, but I didn't. And instead I married Brian, because his outlook is very, very, very similar to mine. And I think that being with Brian really helps me to maintain my positive outlook on life. But having those friends who look at things in a different way, I think it's been really important. Because it's important to be able to understand and identify with people who see things in a different way. But if you're being negative just to be negative, I'm so over that. It's like, life is short, man. Live it up. So I can't get with the negativity thing too much. But I do want to try and understand like people who come from a different perspective, or people who are really struggling with someone. I'm not the kind of person who I'm just like, well, if you just think positive, then everything will go away. I think that that's sort of a cheap way of looking at the positive outlook. I think you can be really genuine and still feel grief and sorrow and struggling, but take time and pause and sort of realize like this life is really short and it's really special and what we do matters. So I'll say to you, like, can you just like be more positive? Please. Yes, I do. I feel like you have so much power. You're people. You are people. Being a student doesn't mean that you are less than, or being young doesn't mean that you are less powerful. You have less ability to make decisions about what happens in your day-to-day life, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the power to change everything around you. I think that you have the power to shape your experience and the people's around you experience, and to shape our community. There are students who are doing that. There are students who are making a difference in our community, and who I'm inspired by, and who inspire me to be more and to do more. Because when I come to work and I see all of the power and the potential and the things that you guys are thinking about and doing, I'm really moved to never be complacent. And I know that that sounds like really cheesy and false, but I mean it. And I've seen it too. So I think that you guys have a lot of power. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of you don't do more or feel like you have more power is because you don't realize how powerful you are. But yeah, I think you've got a lot of power. What do you want to do with it? That's the question.
Hi, I'm Anais Tinajero.
I'm Elizabeth Cuevas.
I'm Giovanni Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bayan.
I'm Romario Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Jackie Vasquez.
I'm Alondra Rojas.